Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the PG Show, where we talk about all things college football. Today, we've got to talk about Oklahoma State, where the state of their program is at, and is it time for the Oklahoma State Cowboys to move on from Mike Gundy? But before we do that, please go ahead, hit that like and the subscribe button. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. Do you guys think it is time for the Oklahoma State Cowboys to move on from Mike Gundy? Okay, so after you could argue one of the best years that Oklahoma State has ever had, Oklahoma State is in a peculiar situation where they're not winning very many games at this point. They're really not. And if you look at what Mike Gundy has done over the past several years at Oklahoma State, at any other program, you would feel like that's a lackluster performance, and the coach is likely getting let go and being fired, and that program's looking for somebody new. They're 7-5 this year. And in 2021, Oklahoma State had one of those magical years where you go 12-2, you beat Notre Dame in the bowl game, and quite honestly, you had a chance to compete for the college football playoffs as the Big 12 champion. You just came up a couple inches short. But before that, in 2020, they go 8-3. In 2019, you go 8-5 with a loss to Texas A&M and the Academy Sports and Outdoors Texas Bowl. In 2018, you're 7-6 with a win against Missouri in the Liberty Bowl. So you're technically in the same position in 2018 that Oklahoma's in now. In 2017, you went 10-3. And previously before that, in 2016 and 2015, you were 10-3 all three of those seasons. My point here is, for the program that Oklahoma State is and what those fans expect, and with Oklahoma and Texas leaving the conference, you would expect there are going to be higher standards in place for Mike Gundy. And those standards are getting set right now. And listen, Boone Pickens is not around anymore to back Mike Gundy. He is not around to keep Mike Gundy on the staff. When I look at what Mike Gundy does on the recruiting trail and what he puts out on the field, he has good seasons here and there, but his seasons are not consistent. And it would be one thing if he had a 7-3 year right after, a couple 10, 11 win seasons, and then he picked it right back up with another 9 or 10 win season the following. But he has one 10-win season and then follows it up with several 7-year wins, and then he goes back to downgrading again. And I get it. Oklahoma State's not Oklahoma. You're not landing the most talented recruits in the country. You're just not. And quite frankly, in the state of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State's getting second picks to Oklahoma. And you can sit here and argue with me about that all day long, but that's the truth. But one thing that I have not seen Oklahoma State do well, that they need to be doing well, is hit the recruiting trail. You're Oklahoma State. You have the oil money. You have a booster program that can give you an NIL program to be able to go out there and be competitive and put up a top 25 recruiting class every single year. You can go hit the state of Texas a little more than you are. When I look at their recruiting class for 2023, they're getting all of the guys from Oklahoma that Oklahoma didn't pick up. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys 5 guys from Texas. That's it. Mind you, Oklahoma is taking like a ton, like almost 10 plus every year. And Oklahoma State's got to be able to go recruit the state of Texas a little bit better than what they have. Mike Gundy and the staff have to be able to put themselves in a position to be able to go out there and win these recruits on the recruiting trail in Texas, in Kansas. If you're Oklahoma State and you're losing the kids in the state of Oklahoma to Oklahoma, then you need to be able to go out and lock up some of the other states around you, like the Kansases and the Missouris and the Nebraskas, and keep Oklahoma out of there. And you need to be able to pull those top recruits. Then you need to be able to go down to Texas and recruit Texas well. Because if they're not doing it well now, what makes me think they're going to do it well when Oklahoma and Texas leave this conference? Seriously. And again, the performance that Mike Gundy is putting out on the field for this program is inexcusable. It really is. Right now, their recruiting class ranking for 2023 is ranked at number 69. And if you look at what Oklahoma State's losing in the transfer portal, you're losing a lot of production. Your quarterback, Spencer Sanders, which you could argue one of the best quarterbacks for Oklahoma State ever, just hit the transfer portal. Likely going to hit Kansas State, Nebraska, TCU, or a lot of these other programs that develop running quarterbacks really well. Then you lost Mason Cobb. Mason Cobb's in the portal. And mind you not, he's not coming back to Oklahoma State. He's gone. Mason Cobb in 2022 for Oklahoma State had 96 total tackles, 58 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. At the linebacker position, which I feel like is a pretty coveted position in college football, Oklahoma State can't be losing guys like that. You cannot be losing guys that are all conference guys for you. When you look at Mason Cobb, he's got a wide frame. He's not super tall, but he's got decent length. And he punishes the ball carriers. He has an eye and a nose for where the ball is going on the field. And then you look at Braylon Presley, the freshman from Tulsa, Oklahoma, that they have played a wide receiver this year. 5 receptions, 26 yards. Why didn't you use him more? Because now there's a pretty good chance this kid ends up at the University of Oklahoma. And Oklahoma State fans should be pretty pissed off if that happens. That you're losing your players that you recruited to this college 40 miles down the road. And the transfer portal is only going to get worse for Oklahoma State. Now, Mike Gundy has done a really good job in the transfer portal in the past. Bringing guys in, developing them, and putting together a serviceable squad every single year. The years where he can do that are becoming pretty thin. They're becoming pretty thin. And if you're an Oklahoma State fan, you're looking for Mike Gundy to go out there and make a splash this year in the transfer portal. You really are. And how can Oklahoma State do that? How can Mike Gundy go ahead and go out there and make a splash, make a name? The big thing is start out with the quarterback position. There are so many quarterbacks in the transfer portal right now that Oklahoma State could bring in to their program that would completely change their program. First one, Devin Leary from NC State. The second one is DJ Uiagalelei. And that's the one, if I'm Mike Gundy, I am going balls to the wall for. You are going balls to the wall for DJ Uiagalelei. He's a dual threat quarterback. He could do everything you want. He's a superstar. We cause a lot of hype around that Oklahoma State program. Go down to Texas and steal Hudson Card. You can go get Luke Altmaier from Ole Miss, who a lot of us will tell you is a very good quarterback. Very good quarterback. But If Oklahoma State comes down here and they do not get any of these 4 or 5-star quarterbacks, and they go down here and they get one of these 3-star guys like Haynes King or Drew Pine, then I would be extremely worried about the future of Oklahoma State football. Because the fact that you are not able to go out there and land top-tier talent, even in the transfer portal, I feel like is a problem. And it's a problem that we have to look at and go, it's a problem with Mike Gundy. You have an opportunity to go improve your defense if you're Mike Gundy. Go out there and go get a Fentrell Cypress from Virginia. Go out there and get a Juke or a Juke Hardaway from Cincinnati. You can upgrade your offensive line with, I'm going to completely butcher this, Ajini Cornelius from Rhode Island. Texas A&M has an influx of players hitting the portal. Most notable, LJ Johnson. Tunamisi, I hope I'm saying this right, Adali? I hope I said that right. You can go to Missouri, get Dominic Lovett. There's lots of options for Oklahoma State in the transfer portal right now. And Mike Gundy has to hit it. And if he doesn't, Oklahoma State fans and the Oklahoma State administration should have Mike Gundy on the hot seat. You guys should be having better seasons than what you're getting from Mike Gundy right now at the University of Oklahoma State. You should. And Mike Gundy should have been on the hot seat a long time ago. I don't care that he took you guys to a New Year's 6 bowl win against Notre Dame and had an 11-win season, 12-win season. That doesn't matter. The time is now. Transfer portal and the NIL era are here. And if you're Mike Gundy, you have to adapt. You do. And if you're Oklahoma State and you have to move on from Mike Gundy, there's lots of options out there for you. There's lots of options out there for you. You can go out there and you can hire a young superstar at the offense, at the head coaching position. Shoot, Dion just took the Colorado job. There's a chance that if Oklahoma State was looking for a coach this year, they could have got Deion Sanders to Oklahoma State. There is a chance that could have happened. And my goodness, would that have been that would have been insane. That would have been crazy if that would have happened. But if you're an Oklahoma State fan, I really want you to think about this. And I really want you to think about what Mike Gundy has been putting on the field for you and what he has been doing in the transfer portal and on the recruiting trail. And how he's underperforming in both areas, and all 3 areas of this game. Because here's the thing. Oklahoma just had a 6-6 year. They might go 6-7 after this bowl game. I can bet your bottom dollar that Oklahoma wins 10 games next year. I've heard what they're getting in the recruiting trail. You see what they're doing in the transfer portal. This is going to be a completely different team than what we saw last year. And with Oklahoma and Texas leaving this conference, it's a perfect opportunity for Oklahoma State to step up and take over conference supremacy and try to solidify themselves at least a college football playoff spot for the next 2 years in 2024 and 2025 while it's expanded to 12 teams. Make a name for yourself. Get higher on the recruiting trail rankings. Oklahoma State has that opportunity. So go ahead, jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Mike Gundy should be on the hot seat? Do you think it's time to part ways with him? Ultimately, what do you guys think about the state of the Oklahoma State football program? If you haven't already, please go ahead, hit that like and the subscribe button. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. Try and hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so please go ahead and hit that for me.